Hi there. Excuse me. Um, I just thought this morning I would do a video um, on narcissism. I just thought I would talk about this. Now, the narcissism label, has always been thrown around towards so many different types of people, and the characteristics of this do exist, but it can sometimes be thrown around towards people who sometimes we don't realise that we're actually a little bit threatened of someone. And I think some people use this towards people they feel threatened by. I see women doing it that have had bad relationships. It's obvious that you're obviously still into that guy, and you're just wanting to make a reason for the relationship not doing well. And that's an ego thing. And this is very important because ego is what develops narcissism. Right? And you get a lot of women out there, who have had bad relationships, and they still like the guy, obviously. Still got a thing for the guy, and it ended, so he must be a narcissist to not like them. This is the way they are. But it's not always the case. Sometimes someone just loses interest in you. Sometimes they want something else. For example, many years ago, in my last physical relationship with someone, I ended it, and I had to. Not because I didn't like her or liked someone else, but because I had to start developing myself. I had to develop my own inner relationship. So, a lot of this narcissism stuff gets flat. You hear it all the time. I mean, it's probably the in word, narcissist. But these characteristics do exist, and I learned about this because, number one, I had an unexpected spiritual awakening just under 10 years ago. And to cut a long story short, I started going in this pathway. And then I started to heal my own narcissistic traits, you could say. I wasn't a full-blown narcissist, I don't believe, but I was heading in the direction of that. And I've known people that are a little bit, I wouldn't say narcissists, because some of it might be my own family, but narcissistic traits, you could say. And we all have them. That's the thing. We all have them, but being a full-blown narcissist, this is what psychologists say. They say that we all have narcissism. Just different levels, right? For example, you get someone that's a little bit narcissistic, but then you get someone who's just hurting others, or they're playing mind games all the time. A different thing. So, so before you call someone a narcissist, really observe them closely. Also observe yourself first of all. Because we perceive in others the reflection of ourselves. This is something that became apparent to me in this spiritual awakening. Before the spiritual awakening, I thought I was Sean. I'm this personality, but then the awakening was showing me that everything that I think I am is all by the outside influences since birth. And this is what had developed the narcissism in me before the spiritual awakening. And in that spiritual awakening, I say it all the time, you return to nothingness. Because once you take away all the influences, you're left with nothing. But that's for another video. But my point is, this is how I was able to heal the narcissism, because I realized that this wasn't my personality. That this is a personality trait that has been developed since birth from outside influences. You see, and we are not aware of this until we wake up. Like my dad was saying to me yesterday, oh, you need violence to change the world, and he's not alone there. And it's just not true. Everything comes by energy and our awareness, and this relates to narcissism, because narcissistic personalities is just a type of awareness. That certain type of awareness is developed from outside influences, and that develops a personality. And if you decide to wake up right now, you can do it right now by starting to realize and look around you and realize that all these traits you think you have, or these beliefs, are embedded in you, but they're not really you. If you want to know what that noise is, that's I've got a cat and she's got kittens and she's communicating with them. Just in case you wondered what that noise was. It's strange, cats seem to meow to us, but talk in a different language to their kittens. But back to what I'm talking about, that's how and narcissism, is, like I say, it's everything. Another conversation I had with my dad last week was I was trying to explain to him about spiritual awakening, about subconsciousness, but I don't think he quite got it. That when you wake up spiritually, you start to tap into the subconscious. This is how you're able to heal your narcissism, because everything comes from the subconsciousness, right? Your subconscious mind has layers. It's like the Titanic. It's like in the subconscious reality, I liken it to like a submarine in deep water, and that's what your subconsciousness is like. And in this deep subconsciousness realm is all your subconscious traits from past lives and things like that. And these traumas from there, this is what I realized from this awakening. Hypnotherapists can do this for hours and only tap into one life and one trauma. In spiritual awakening, you're tapping into multiple traumas at the same moment. And this is how I've been able to heal my narcissism, because I was able to tap into and tune into these different traumas that were manifesting this need to be narcissistic. And then once you start to do that, you start to forgive yourself. This is the thing about forgiveness also. It's the reason we can't forgive outward. They always say forgive outward, but they don't tell us that we can't forgive outward until we forgive ourselves. We subconsciously don't forgive ourselves. And this is why we can't forgive externally. It's the same with love. Relationships is the same. I've learned from being on my own that relationship all starts with yourself. And then your external relationships that you ever have in your future is determined by your internal relationships. And so the subconscious thing and your relationship with your subconsciousness, and most people aren't aware of this until they wake up spiritually. And so that's why that spiritual awakening is so important. But then in spiritual awakening, you then can tap into, you're aware of what is developing these narcissistic traits. And like I say, narcissism, it all comes from trauma. Trauma is what drives and molds and shapes the ego. The ego self is formed by traumas from multiple timelines that we've experienced. And this develops an ego, and then when you get the narcissist, it's based, that's why they do things to get a reaction, because it's trauma / ego based. So they will say something, they will do something, or if you need something, you hear a lot of psychologists say this about it. They say that if you need something from them, they like that, because then, or you want something from them, and then they start playing games. And if you're not playing, then they start to get they start to get really insecure, because all narcissism is formed from insecurity, but it's rather subconscious insecurity. Sometimes we're not aware of our true insecurities because they're from past lives. And in hypnotherapy, you can access a trauma, but you really need to wake up spiritually to access it all. And how do you do that? How do you wake up? Well, you wake up spiritually when you decide. When I woke up spiritually, I woke up because I sat down one day and realized that I had it. I had enough. And then I started to wake up, and it was an inner decision. It's an inward decision. It's a heartfelt thing. You know, when you get some people and they just end a relationship, it's just something they feel. That's the kind of moment it is. It's an authentic moment. And it's all within presence. You know, you hear it all the time. People that are in the world that are motivational speakers, they woke up spiritually. They basically, a motivational speaker is basically someone that just woke up. Because you become your own life coach. Well, you're. It's like I said earlier. You become this relationship within yourself. And this, I said to one motivational speaker on Instagram, I said, my soul is my mentor. And that's the way it is. I don't read books. I don't read books. The only book I read is the one that's within me. That's why I'm not into Bibles or anything like that. All is within me. And this awakening came from within me. But yeah, narcissism comes because a lot of the psychologists who talk about it, they don't even know what it comes from. They spend more time criticizing narcissists and not enough time talking about how to find the solution, how to cure it. How to cure it, you've got to have that spiritual awakening. This is what I said to my dad yesterday. I said, Dad, if you're violent, right, you just end up like, I'm sure there's people in Black Lives Matter that think they're doing a good thing, but they're violent and people are turning against them, right? I'm sure there is, right? But people don't want to know, because violence is a hateful energy, and everything goes by energy. Everything's just an energy field, and when you wake up spiritually, that's what you're changing, your energy, and then you're going from the third dimension to the fifth dimension, and that is how we change the planet properly. Because remember, as science has proven, physical reality manifests from the energetic reality, the non-physical reality. So you've got to tune. So what we have to do to change the planet is change the frequencies of the planet, and then we change the planet. Like in the Back to the Future movie, when the scientist says, "Look, Marty, we'll change this reality here, and that will change the future." And what he's meaning is that will change the energy, and so the energetic outcome on the future will change. And that's an example. So that's how so in Spiritual Awakening, this is what you're doing. You're going from third dimension to fifth dimension. And into infinite love, and you realize then everything's just infinite love. The heart space is the closest representation of what we are, which is just love. And this is how you heal your narcissism. This is it. Once you start to tune into your heart space, like in the Heart Math Institute, that's when you start spiritual awakening, the heart vortex. Then you start to tap into your subconscious reality without feeling pain, because you're in this meditative state, because you're tuned into your heart vortex. And that's when you start being aware of your subconscious issues that's manifesting this narcissism. This is how you heal it. But it's a long journey. Ascension is a daily path. It's a presence path, and it's all about the heart vortex area, which is a vortex that tunes you to what I call the heaven self, which is the you that lives in heaven. Which is just a state of awareness. Everything's just awareness. But I'm just going to leave it there. For latest updates, videos, etc., please do visit my website at www.lovelikefamily.com. Thank you for watching and listening.